everyone, I'm Mindy from Nordic Ware. Today we are back in the Nordic kitchen, and joining us is the talented Sarah Kieffer, a local blogger and baker located right here in Minneapolis. Sarah is the author of the Vanilla Bean blog, where she shares her incredible baking recipes, including her well-known method for pan-baking cookies. She's written 3 exciting cookbooks: the Vanilla Bean Baking Book, 100 Cookies, and her new cookbook, Baking for the Holidays. Sarah, we are so excited to have you join us in the Nordic kitchen today.
Thank you for having me.
So, I hear you will be combining 2 of your favorite Sunday morning indulgences into one incredible dessert.
That's right.
Let's hear about it.
It is Cinnamon Roll Blondies. So we're taking cinnamon rolls and blondies and mashing them together into one delicious treat.
Well, it sounds delicious. Let's get going.
All right. Okay, so like I said, we're making cinnamon roll blondies today, and this recipe has 3 steps. We're making a blondie base, and then we're making a cream cheese filling and a cinnamon sugar filling. And those 2 fillings we're gonna sort of swirl into the batter to mimic a cinnamon roll. So we're gonna start with the cream cheese filling. And in my cookbook, I have you make this in a mixer, but you can also make this just in a bowl right on your countertop if you don't have a mixer, so we're gonna do that today. And you just take cream cheese, we're gonna put it in the bowl, and you want it to be room temperature. If it's cold, it's gonna not whisk very well. And your sugar, and we're gonna start with those 2. I'm gonna start with a spatula actually. We're just gonna kind of mix the sugar into the cream cheese until it's nice and combined. And then I'm gonna just pour the vanilla in, and I'm gonna kind of scoop this off here. And then I'm just gonna whisk it together until it's nice and combined. We're gonna make our brown sugar filling, and I need to use the stovetop for this step. So I'm gonna melt butter till it's melted, and then add brown sugar and cinnamon and a little bit of salt, and we're just gonna cook that down and then let it cool to room temperature. So I just made the cinnamon sugar filling, and it's a little warm, so we're gonna let it cool to room temperature, and then I'm going to move on to making the blondie base. So this base has brown butter in it, and we're gonna need to use the stovetop again to brown our butter. The recipe calls for 2 cups, and we brown 12 tablespoons and then add more butter in after it's browned to help cool it down and just add a little more regular butter flavor. Okay, I just browned my butter, and you want to kind of scrape the pan and get any little brown bits that are on there because they are just all flavor. And browning the butter helps give the butter a nutty flavor that's really delicious. And then I'm going to add just regular butter along in here too. This kind of helps tame the flavor of the brown butter, and it also just helps the mixture cool a little faster. So I just take a whisk and kind of, you can hear it sizzling, whisk it in. So growing up, I didn't do a ton of baking. My mom did not like baking, but every Christmas she would make a huge effort to bake and do stuff with us in the kitchen. And so some of my favorite memories are of the holidays and making sugar cookies and decorating them with my mom and my sister in the kitchen. And it always ended in my sister and I getting in a huge fight and sometimes sent to our rooms, but it's still a really great memory. We always had so much fun and ate way too many cookies. And it was fun just having all 3 of us in the kitchen together because it didn't happen very often. And once your butter is melted in, we're gonna add both brown sugar and white sugar. And you wanna put it right in the warm mixture. This kind of helps melt the sugar, and it also cools the mixture down. And then I'm gonna add salt and vanilla. And again, just whisking until it's totally combined. And it's gonna be kind of not really smooth. It's a little bumpy, but that's okay. When we add the eggs, it'll smooth out really nice. Okay, and then we want to let this cool to room temperature just so the eggs, when they're added, don't cook. So once your mixture has cooled, you're going to add eggs, and we have both eggs and egg yolks to add to the mixture. The egg yolks just make this a little more fudgy and add a lot of fat and flavor, which is always delicious. So I'm going to start with the yolks and just whisk them in until it's nice and smooth. And room temperature eggs work best here because otherwise, if you're putting cold eggs into your mixture, it can seize the mixture, and then it just doesn't get as smooth and it's a little harder to mix. So room temperature eggs just helps incorporate everything more evenly. And then 2 eggs. All right, and then I'm gonna add some baking powder. Mix that in. And then last I have flour, and I'm gonna stir that in so we don't overmix the batter. So I'm just gonna put it all in at once. And I kind of just do a swirl motion and then fold it in once it's almost all in. Then we have this nice, beautiful brown butter batter, and that looks good. It is combined, we didn't overmix, and we have this gorgeous batter, nice and glossy. So I just made the Blondie batter, and now I'm going to pour it into the pan and swirl in all our fun fillings. So first we need to spray our pan. You can line the pan with parchment too if you like to do that, but they will come out of the pan just fine. And you can use a baking spray with flour just to help it release a little more easily. So I just give it a good spray and get into the corners so it's nice and coated. And this is Nordic Ware's 9x13 pan, and I love this pan because it's nice and durable. My blondies and brownies bake up awesome in it. It bakes them so evenly. And also I love that they're bringing back these rounded corners. They're so cool. A lot of pans now have straight edges, which are also beautiful, but I love the round look. It's kind of retro, and I like how my blondies bake up in them. So we're gonna put our batter into this pan and just scoop it in. So you just wanna make sure the batter gets into the edges and kind of even it out. You can use an offset spatula too, or a knife, just to kind of help it. But that looks pretty good. Okay, and you can also kind of shimmy the pan, just kind of get the batter in there. Okay, and then we're gonna add our fillings. And I have the cinnamon sugar. I'm gonna start with that. And the sugar kind of consolidates here, so I just wanna show you that's normal. And you can just use a spoon to stir it up. And there's not a lot of it, but that's actually good because a little bit goes a long way here. Okay, so I'm just gonna dollop just a little bit here. I kind of go every other with this. Okay, and then we're gonna do cream cheese, and you can use either a cookie scoop or a spoon and just kind of scoop it. This one scoops really nice, so you can just kind of scoop it in here. So you just put that in there, that looks great. And then you're gonna take a knife and we're gonna swirl this into the batter, and it's gonna look a little unpromising, but it will turn out beautiful. So we just kind of, I just like to go back and forth. You wanna make sure to get the corners so they don't get left out. And you wanna kind of get the cinnamon and the cream cheese so it's in every bite. And I just swirl, I try not to touch the bottom of the pan, but I just go around. And one thing you can do is leave a little spot in the center without cream cheese and the cinnamon sugar, and that's where you can put your tester in to test when the batter's done, because sometimes the cream cheese and the sugar mixture will stay wet while it's baking, so it's hard to tell, but if you leave that little spot, then you can tell really easily that your blondies are done. Okay, so that looks good. It's swirled in, and then the batter's gonna bake up, and it's gonna like kind of sink in, and it'll be really beautiful when they're done. Okay, so these are swirled and beautiful, and now we're going to put them into our oven at 350 and bake them for between 25 and 35 minutes. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, so my blondies are done. I'm gonna get them out of the oven and show you them. Ta-da!
Wow, Sarah.
Here they are.
They look fabulous.
Thank you.
I feel like I've witnessed some pure magic watching you make these cinnamon roll blondies. They look fantastic.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you for being here with us today and helping us celebrate our 75th anniversary and helping us make some new memories in the kitchen.
I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.